Welcome back to my channel, where I bring you pottery tips and tutorials from my straw bale homestead in the Canadian countryside. When we're learning a new skill, quite often we don't even notice the growth that we're making. It happens in such small little increments that it's very undetectable day by day. And with the new year approaching, I think this is a really nice time to not only look forward, make a resolution perhaps. That's not something I generally do, but I know a lot of people do. And also reflect back and see how far you've come. So whether you're just starting your pottery journey or you've been doing it for a few years, a few months, or like myself, 30 years, I think it's really important to take that time to reflect and also to thank your former self for doing the steps that you needed to do to get going. Because sometimes those are the hardest steps to take, the ones where you're awkward and it's uncomfortable, and maybe you're making pieces that are quite embarrassing. Maybe you're aware of it, maybe you aren't. And if it's you in the beginning of this journey, then really thanking yourself now. This is an awkward stage. There's no way around it. Beginning something new is awkward. And in 10 years from now, if you stick with it, you'll be really grateful that you started it. So in lieu of all of this, I wanted to take a moment to reflect and show you how far I've come in 30 years. So I started pottery in high school back in 1995, and these pieces were made sometime during that period. And I wanted to show you the difference between a mug from, let's say, 1996 to a mug 30 years later. Now, just to critique my previous mug a little bit, the handle doesn't even fit one finger. And if it did, if you had a hot drink, you'd be burning your finger. The feet are cute, but very basic. The shape is a little wonky. It's trimmed fairly thin, to be honest, but the whole thing is it's a beginner piece. What can I say? And then 30 years later, the mug is perfect for all four fingers to fit in. There's a perfect gap in between so that you're not too far or too close to the cup. And everything is nice and slick in proportion. The shape is much more sophisticated. And the whole piece just feels really lovely to use. So thank you, previous me, for starting and making those awkward pieces. And here's a bowl from my high school days as well. It's pretty heavy. You can't feel that obviously through the camera. It's got some weight to it. The shape isn't bad, honestly. I've got a nice curve on the inside, which is pretty good. Sometimes beginner bowls have the flat base and then the wall. The foot ring is pretty small. It's very thin. And the glaze is sort of dripping down, threatening to stick to the kiln shelf. And then there's a bowl that I made this year, which is our salad bowl. We've got a nice clean foot ring in proportion to the rest of the bowl. Much larger in size, obviously. I couldn't throw this big when I started. So let's all give ourselves a little pat on the back and thank ourselves for either starting at the beginning of this journey or wherever you are. And I'll say thank you to my former Jana. And I really appreciate the awkward stage you went through so I could get to this stage. So that's my little New Year's pep talk for all you potters out there. Secondly, I'm going to be making some things this week. I'm making more of these travel cups, and if you're curious to see the details of how I make them, I'll make sure I link that video at the end of this one. I also sew all my own clothing and sometimes build furniture. So everything that I'm wearing in all of my videos I've made by hand. Right now, this week, I'm working on making some leggings for my daughter, so nothing too fancy, but I'm hoping after that to start some more pieces for myself. But I'll always share the links to the sewing patterns in the description box below. And if you're curious to hear more about patterns I recommend, stick around to the end of this video, and I'll talk to you a little bit more about what I'm sewing this week. So without further ado, I'm gonna get throwing, and I will see you at the end of the video. Enjoy. I've just finished sewing my daughter a new pair of leggings. Kids tend to get holes in the knees very quickly. This is my second batch this fall or winter now. And I always use the Lowland Kids ribbed knit legging pattern for her. I really, really love Lowland Kids for their knit fabric patterns. So when I say knit fabric, if you don't know what that means, it's like stretchy t-shirt material. So not woven like a cotton or, this is cotton, like a cotton or a linen. And although they often are made out of cotton, this one is a bamboo rib knit. So it's specifically the kind of material that you would find around cuffs or necklines usually, where it's got little ridges in it. That's a rib knit. And if you ever work with this kind of fabric, or you want to start working with this kind, I highly recommend getting a serger. It is 100% worth it. I used to try to sew with this fabric before I had a serger, because you can use a zigzag stitch on a regular sewing machine, but it honestly doesn't work very well. It puckers the seams and they don't lay flat, and it just looks very unfinished. I do still use my zigzag stitch around the cuffs and to sew in the elastic waistband, but the serger for everything else. So if you're on the fence, you're thinking of getting one, you will not regret it. The other thing I wanted to share with you are some beautiful stories that we've read lately. I really love reading to the kids. I love good literature. And if you're somebody who also has little ones around, or maybe just want to read these books for yourself, they're fantastic. So the first one is this one, The Boy Who Harnessed the Wind. It's a true life story about a boy growing up in Malawi, and he ends up building a windmill for himself and his family out of garbage. Things that we would have thrown away, or things that were thrown away. And everybody in the village thinks he's crazy, and it ends up working. He teaches himself everything. His family doesn't have enough money to send him to school. He lives through a really severe famine and drought, and just a really incredible story. My 6-year-old was really inspired to start building windmills with little things that he found around the house. So it was really neat to watch how inspired he was as well. So I highly recommend this one. And the other one that we're reading right now is this one, The Hatchet. And this is about a 13-year-old boy who ends up surviving a plane crash and is lost in the wilderness for 55 days. This is a fictional book, and it's a really amazing, incredible story so far. We're only about halfway through, but we look forward to this every night and cannot wait to get to it. So I always read to the kids before bed at night. Anyway, thank you so much for your time, and I hope you enjoyed seeing what I was making this week and picked up a couple tips. And I really look forward to this year ahead and seeing what unfolds for the projects I'm working on, but also hopefully hearing from you and hearing what you're working on. So if you feel like dropping a comment below, I would love to hear what you're going to be tackling this coming year, what kind of creative projects have been inspiring you, and also where you are on your journey and how you are appreciating either the stage you're at right now or the previous self and how far you've come. So thank you again, and I hope you're having a wonderful day wherever you are. Much love. Talk to you soon.